Okay, so let's quickly analyze this short but very discrete story advertorial. So, above the poll headline, how a natural supplement changed everything. Fatty liver is no longer an obstacle for me. So, what do we have here? We have the main pain point call out. The solution tease, a short, simple, very easy to understand. It could be a bit more specific. How a natural supplement changed everything is a bit vague for my taste. But nonetheless, if it converts, if it's working, at the end of the day, you have to test, and only the market can determine what works and what doesn't. And I love what they did with the hero image of this advertorial, because instead of the classic before and after image, where you have the prospect twice on the left and the right, here just have a simple image of the prospect once on a split test with the live before the product, and then on the right, in this case, live after the product, right? And because this is a story advertorial, we're going to start with the lead, with the story lead in this case, where we're going to get introduced to the world of the hero and his problems. We're going to agitate the problem with real world examples. And we're going to make the problem vivid with the worst nightmare. Then we're going to go into the rock bottom moment. Then we're going to go into the explanation of what really causes the problem, so the true root cause of this problem. Then the story of how the hero of the advertorial found the solution and found the product, the official product reveal, some social proof, the results he got after trying the product, and then from then we're just going to go into like a very simple close. So that's the structure of this story advertorial, and this is the best way to study copy. Whenever you study any piece of copy, turn everything into a structure. In this case, like a 10-point structure, because structure, it's essentially the main, it's like the skeleton of copy. And then you have the words, the choice of language, the brand voice, the direct response tricks, all of that good stuff. It's like within, right? It would be like the meat. But then really everything comes down to structure, and it makes it like with a proven structure, really average copy can really outperform like very well written copy if it follows a proven structure, right? So structure is very, very important. So in this case, like I said, it starts with like a story lead. It was one of those days when everything seemed to be going perfectly. I came to the office ready to take on the world, but then it happened. So transition sentence. Looking in the bathroom mirror, I noticed this, a slight yellow tint in my eye. The bloating that had plagued me for weeks was worse than ever. So some physical symptoms. We're presenting the problem by giving them real world examples of how the problem how the problem was affecting the hero, how the problem was affecting his life. My business suit felt like a torture device. My hands were shaking from the constant fatigue. I could barely focus on my computer. So this is how the problem again is affecting me. I felt a wave of panic wash over me at 49. Okay, so at 49, I was supposed to be my prime, building my career, enjoying life. So we went from like the mere basic pain points to now more emotional pain points. So we're like dimensionalizing the problem. We're bringing the problem real to life. Now I was hiding in the office bathroom trying to hold back tears, so a more emotional pain, sorry, trying to hold back tears while Googling yellow eyes liver disease on my phone. And the worst part, this wasn't just about me anymore. Last weekend, my 8-year-old daughter had asked me why I couldn't play soccer with her like I used to. Well, that is just tired, I said. But the look of disappointment in her eyes haunted me. Would I even be around to see her graduate high school? My father had died of liver at 52. Wow. Was I heading down the same path? So we agitate the problem. We're dimensionalizing the pains, and then we go into the worst possible case scenario, the worst nightmare, right, in the story, which is, hey, I had this problem, this liver disease. My dad also had it, and he unfortunately died. He passed away at 52, which is a very young age to die from such a thing. Um, because this raises a stake, and then as the reader, we want to know what's going to happen next, right? So we're like getting into the we want to know what's going to happen in the story by bringing the stakes up. The turning point. This is where the hero is going to find out that something had to change. So the blood test results came back. These liver enzymes levels are dangerously high, my doctor said. You have fatty liver disease, and if you don't make changes now, you're looking to potential within 5 to 10 years. So again, the worst possible case. So the stakes are really, really high now. I spent that night in a dark spiral, reading story after story from others in my situation. One man wrote how he ignored fatty liver for years, how it started with fatigue and brain fog. I ignored it until my skin started turning yellow. Now I'm 45. Don't be me. Another shared about losing his father. He was only 50. So what this copy is doing, if you realize, it's giving you like logical reasons to act in a very discreet way, in a very non-salesy way, because it's using the story and the characters in the story as the vehicle mechanism to tell you all this, to educate the audience on the consequences of inaction. The copy won't tell you, hey, if you don't act, the problem is it's only gonna get worse, which is true, but he's using the characters and the storytelling to do this, which is how I like to do it. It's a very, very effective way of making the advertorial feel like a story article instead of an advertisement, which is what it really is at what it really is at the end of the day. So whenever you have a story advertorial, always do this to be as discreet as possible and non-salesy. So be very subtle with it. And this is what this copy is doing. It's being very subtle by educating the audience of, hey, if you don't act, if you don't take care of your problem, this is what's going to happen. In this case, he was searching for um, other men, like he had this problem, and this is what happened. This is what's going to wait for me if I don't take action. And why he did this? Because he's an investigative journalist who spent 15 years uncovering hidden truths in the healthcare industry. So the copy has a lot of proof elements. I threw myself into research. That's when I discovered something that changed everything. So the shocking truth. This is the problem. Again, the root cause of the real reason why we have the problem. So your liver has a crucial job, has a toxic, it's like a toxic waste plant. Everything you eat, drink, or absorb through your skin eventually passes through your liver to be processed and filtered. This is why this is so important, because the liver is not just another organ, right? Anything you drink, eat, and absorb, it goes through the liver. So now it's agitating the problem in a logical way. But here's the problem. Just like a real waste plant, your liver can get overwhelmed if too much toxin material comes in too fast. So it's like the explanation. When this happens, blah, 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 this explains why so many stories follow the same pattern. So a lot of proof elements in the copy. Excuse me. Excuse me. Yeah, so, and then we go from the explanation of the true root cause of the problem. Let me make this slightly bigger, to the story of how this hero of the advertorial came to find the conclusion, came to find the product. So in my investigation, I came across something unusual. A small group of liver specialists in Germany have been seeing remarkable results with their patients. So proof elements. What caught my attention wasn't just the improvement in liver enzymes, it was the speed and consistency of the results. So teasing that solution and what's to come. I reached out to one of the doctors who shared something fascinating. And what this is doing here, most liver supplements fail because they only try to boost liver function. This is setting the stage nicely to introduce to the product reveal once the official product is introduced. Because this, again, is in a very discreet way, is using the elements in the story to discard alternatives and to tell you, hey, but most solutions in the market, most liver supplements, because this product is a liver supplement, don't work because of this, and it's using the characters in the story to do this, right? So it's a very discreet way of doing this. We set up the stage nicely to once the prospect has changed the belief and the mechanism is introduced and accepted. Now only then we now introduce our product as the ultimate and logical solution. Alpha Cleanse. Why this formula is so effective. So after all that, now that the product is introduced, the next logical solution is to talk about the unique mechanism of what makes this product unlike anything else that they've tried, right? So what sets this product apart? Initially, I was skeptical. After 15 years of investigating supplement companies, I learned to be cautious of big promises. But what caught my attention was that this formula wasn't just trying to boost liver function. These natural ingredients work together in a unique dual action process. First, it cleared out the stored toxins and fat, and then it strengthened the liver's ability to process new waste. So that's essentially the unique mechanism of this product. Then to lower the skepticism, we introduce some social proof, some testimonials in this case. And now the next section in the structure is to tell you about the results that the hero got after using the product, after trying the product. And whenever you do this, do it in like a believable timeline where results don't happen overnight, if you know what I mean. Always give like a believable mm, time frame to make it more believable, to make it more real, right? And always address the skepticism, just like this copy is brilliantly doing. So the first change was so subtle, I almost missed it. Around day 7, I realized I'd eaten dinner without feeling like I needed to unbutton my pants. By day 10, so I always increase day 10, day 15, day 30, I was feeling this and this and this, and that solved the problems that you introduced at the beginning of the advertorial. So look, it goes from my personal experiment to the first signs of change to dramatic results, right? This is how my life was so much better after trying the product. And then final social proof, and then we're just going to the close where we transform that all that desire into action, where we tell them what to do, and we introduce more proof language. The fact that over 20,000 customers and 475 clinical clinics nationwide had recommended it speaks volumes about its effectiveness. However, due to extremely high demand, they regularly run out of stock, so we're adding some urgency. I experienced this myself, again, using the hero to effectively do all these direct response tricks. I experienced this myself when I first tried to order. I had to wait several days before more became available. That's why I eventually switched to the subscription. Oh, so this is a subscription. Not only do I save 20% on every order, but my orders get prioritized. From my experience, I researched, I recommend getting at least 3 months supply to start. So it's increasing the average order value, the AOV push. Your liver works 24/7, continuously processing everything you eat, drink, and absorb. So logical reasons of why you should act. While some people like me notice improvements within weeks, the most significant changes in the liver health typically occur between months 2 and 3, and that's the justification of why you should order the 3-month supply to experience the best results for your liver. It's been proven that the longer you take, the better results are you're gonna get. So the AOV is justified. This isn't a quick fix, it's an investment in your long-term health, which is a very common claim in the health niche. And then we have the CTA. Click here to check if it's still available with some urgency language. I hope that my story information I've shared here can help many people struggling with liver health. My tip as someone who's thoroughly investigated this field, just give it a try. So a friendly, non-salesy call out to action. Your liver performs over 500 vital functions every day. It deserves the best support available. So that's essentially the whole story advertorial. If you want this document, just drop a comment on the video or just drop me a message on Instagram. I'll happily send it to you. And that's how you do it. I hope you guys learn it, and I hope you guys learned something new and enjoyed it. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye.